Hello everybody, welcome to the Daily Review, episode number 305. I'm in jail. How's it going, everybody? I am back from Ireland. It was a blast. It was a really nice time seeing my friend Nadine and doing all sorts of cool stuff. Here are a few of the pictures from over there. As you can see, nice, beautiful, amazing. I went to a lot of pubs, drank a lot of beer, went sightseeing, that sort of stuff, and I even managed to go to the cinema, as they call it over there, and I saw the film The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is a Swedish film, and it's directed by Neil Arden Oplev, and it's based on a series of books. I believe it's a trilogy called Millennium, and this is part 1, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. There's also a part 2 and a part 3. This is part 1, and it's about two people mainly. One of them, Michael, who is a guy who's been accused of libel and convicted, and he's going to jail in about 6 months. He gets hired by this guy for one reason or another to try to solve this murder mystery that took place with this woman about 40 years ago. She disappeared. He doesn't know where she's been. He receives a letter every single year from the supposed killer, and so he's hired to basically try to help him find who did this. And in this man's family, there's like a series of people that used to be Nazis and that sort of thing, so it's like everyone's a suspect and he has to get to the bottom of it. The second part of this story revolves around Lisbeth, and this is the girl with the dragon tattoo. She's a kind of a goth-looking girl. She's like a female hacker. She's really into computers. She knows how to, but she can hack your computer from anywhere. And she hacks into this guy's, Michael's, computer and realizes that he's looking up all these clues for this sort of a thing. And she starts to help him solve this murder mystery, and kind of an unlikely relationship forms between the two of them. And kind of a foreign thriller ensues, I guess. I've heard a lot of good stuff about the girl with the dragon tattoo going into it, and I think the two main things that I've heard a lot of people say is that the lead actress in the film, Noomi Rapace, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, and she is fantastic in the film. That's all I've been hearing. And I've also been hearing that it's this nail-biting, white-knuckle thriller, and I will say that I slightly agree with both of those statements, but not nearly enough that I should. I think The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is a good film. However, I don't really think that it's a great film, and I think there's a lot of things that hold it back. But I'll talk about the good stuff first. The main actress in the film, Noomi Rapace, she is quite good as the girl with the dragon tattoo. She has a lot of stuff where she doesn't convey a lot of emotion because she's a very mysterious woman, and she deals with a lot of intense scenes. There's a rape scene that takes place in this film that's really difficult to watch, and she does it all rather well. The thrilling aspect of the film really kind of gets going for me towards the last act, when you start to find out who may or may not be the killer, and the stuff that takes place between that is kind of horrifying and shocking, and it is very interesting, the stuff towards the end. However, there are a lot of problems that I have with this movie that kind of impedes what I have to say about it, or the good stuff. It kind of negates everything. And the main thing about this film is that there are two stories here, and it's trying to juggle both of them, and only one of them is really fleshed out and dealt with, and that's the story of finding out who this murderer is. There's a whole other side plot, though, revolving around Michael going to jail for libel, and towards especially the last, like, final fourth of this film. There's a lot of stuff that says like 6 months later, and this is him, and this is everything that's happened, and all that sort of stuff feels very secondhand to what's going on, and frankly kind of uninteresting. And I think the reason it's a little uninteresting is because it's not fully developed. It's not as developed as the main story, so you don't really care as much. I mean, when it gets to the point where it says 6 months later and deals with Michael's libel, you're like, oh wait, that's right, he did have that. You kind of totally forget about it because it's not even talked about throughout the film. There are a lot of graphic scenes in the film, the rape especially, and I don't know if it's as tastefully done as it should be, because there's a moment of retaliation that the girl with the dragon tattoo has, and it's frankly almost as disturbing as the actual rape, and I feel like the tone of that scene is supposed to kind of be like she's getting her revenge, but it's almost just as disturbing, which almost doesn't really work for me. The film is about 2.5 hours long, and the whole time I was thinking, this doesn't really feel 2.5 hours long, but it gets towards the end, and it suffers from the problem that I see a lot of movies suffer from. Tell No One, which is also a critically acclaimed foreign film, suffered from the same problem for me, and it's that The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo has about 4 or 5 too many endings. There are so many scenes where I'm like, oh, this is the ending, and then it kept going, and then I was like, oh, that's the ending, and then it kept going, and it happens like that for about another 15-20 minutes, and I was like, that's why this movie's 2.5 hours. I feel like, I know that that's probably not how the book was written, I haven't read the book, but I feel like if it just dealt with the murder mystery and not his libel sort of thing, that could be done in another movie or something else. It would have been a much better film. I give The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo a 3 out of 5. I don't really highly recommend it, but if you were planning on seeing it, I think you should check it out and tell me what you think. I haven't read the book, but my friend Nadine read the book, and her thoughts on it were not that good. That was her initial reaction to it. She initially said, I didn't like it. So, there you go. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another one for you. Thanks.